This episode is sponsored by Anchor. If you're looking for a platform to start a podcast, you can start with Anchor for free. It is convenient to record your podcast on a mobile app or on your computer. You can edit and save your audio files. There are no limits to a number of storage, trial periods, and number of episodes on Anchor. It is automatically distributed to Spotify and other listening platforms. You can get paid with no listenership, plays, and downloads. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of the Very Weird Podcast. If you are here for pop culture, internet culture, social media trends, and real life topics, then you are in the right place. I'm your main host, Alex. Call me Burry J or Burry. Welcome to the listeners that are new here. Let me say thank you for joining me. I will be the only speaker for this episode. No one is here with me. This episode is going to be the last episode for this year. I hope that you had a good holiday. Let's prepare for the new year because 2021 is around the corner. I'm done with 2020. I hope that all of the listeners are completely done with 2020. Things are going to be very interesting with 2021. I can't wait for 2020 to be over because this year has been rough, especially with the whole pandemic. I will be doing something completely different in this episode. I have been waiting for this for a long time. I will be reading some Reddit advice, not all of them, maybe 4, 5, or 6. I feel that people need to learn from this, especially if people have been in previous relationships. Once I read every Reddit advice, I will respond to them. I haven't been in long relationships because it's hard as far as I know. It depends on what you're doing. I get to express my analysis. I hope that I record more episodes for reading Reddit statuses in a specific subreddit. I find it fun to engage with the statuses on subreddits. I want to put a disclaimer for you guys because I'm responding with just generic information. This episode is not meant to give professional advice. I'm not a therapist, family counselor, or a marriage counselor. I'm also not a legal professional. If you are someone who feels that your relationship with one of your family members is in jeopardy, then I suggest that you speak with a professional counselor, not me. I don't have all of the professional information to give to you. Do not go to me for some professional and legal advice. There are lawyers out there. Let's start reading some relationship advice on the subreddit. Let me read the first story. It's called My Boyfriend Proposed to Me, making today one of the happiest and saddest days I have had in years. The girlfriend is the narrator, who is 35 years old, and the fiance is 36 years old. This is so silly and possibly stupid, but here it goes, Reddit. Last night, my boyfriend of over a year and a half proposed to me, and I enthusiastically said yes. I can genuinely say he is the love of my life. He is the most amazing, caring, loving, respectful, emotionally as well as mentally, intelligent, goofy, kind, generous, and just amazing man ever. I could go on and on about his amazing qualities. I feel lucky to be blessed enough to have him in my life. After all the I've been through of just straight abusive relationships, I finally know what it's like to be in a truly healthy relationship. Now onto what's so stupid and silly for both of us. This will be a second marriage, and we've agreed this time around we both want an actual wedding. We have both previously done the courthouse route, but something dawned on me last night as we were discussing it at all that I do not have a single family member to invite. I wasn't that girly girl that grew up planning her wedding, but here I am feeling saddened about the fact I have no one to walk me down the aisle. My dad committed suicide 6 years ago. No mother to go dress shopping with me for the last 3 years because my mom has untreated but diagnosed bipolar disorder and extremely toxic. Most of my family are toxic or pretend I don't exist. I was the unwanted bastard child born to two teenagers. I am a CSA survivor who was placed in foster care. In my early teens, I left home at 18 and never looked back. I don't have any people I would call friends, and those I can count on, and those I can count on one hand. And even they all live all over the country with their own families, so it's not a guarantee they could even come. My amazing fiance has always made it clear he was my family, he knows my past, and I feel it in my heart he is. However, I still feel this profound sadness over all this, even though I know deep down having no family minus fiance is better than them. And yet, here I am already dreading something that should be a happy occasion. Has anyone ever gone through this? Any advice? Words of wisdom? I just want to say congratulations to you and your fiance for your engagement. I will say that it is a blessing for someone that you love to welcome you as family. He considers you as family. I'm very happy to hear that you and your fiance are doing very well. Both of you guys are very committed to be with each other for the rest of your life. Your fiance knows everything about you. It sounds very clear that you have been open with him. I want to send my condolences to you and your fiance and both of your families. I'm sorry to hear about your father's passing and your fiance's father's passing. I'm very sorry to hear about your family being toxic towards you. You mentioned that your mother has bipolar disorder. I'm very sorry to hear that. I am very familiar with bipolar disorder. I know a couple of people who have bipolar disorder. I know that bipolar disorder can be hard. It can be managed. I don't want to go too deep with this. I just hope that you are able to work on your relationship with your mother and amend it, as well as your other family members. Change doesn't happen overnight. I'm very sorry to hear everything that happened in your life. I find it unfortunate because not everyone's teen life and childhood were normal. Not everyone's family is normal. Does that make sense? I feel that the hardest decisions you made in your life shapes who you are. You're not apologizing for it. I can respect that you have not looked back on it. Never have regrets in every decision you had to make. You made these decisions for a reason. I definitely want to talk about having friends in your life. I suggest that you make new friends because you can create room for better people in your life. You never know what can happen in your life. Maybe people are genuinely happy for you. Who knows who your real friends are? Plus, you can build a support system. You'll find out how supportive people are. Identify who is supportive and who are not your real friends. You don't want to look like a fool to believe the amount of people who are your friends. Better room for you to make new friends. Could invite to come to your wedding. In addition, you said that you feel that they're not going to come. I was wondering if you can ask your fiance's mother to go dress shopping with you. I feel that it would be convenient because I find this very upsetting when you said that people you claim are your friends are the same people she will be your mother-in-law soon once you guys get married. I also heard that it's common for soon-to-be mothers-in-law going dress shopping with their son's fiance. I never thought about it at all. I don't know anyone whose soon-to-be mother-in-law would go with their son's fiance dress shopping for the wedding. You know, you have a perfect chance. to become closer with your soon-to-be mother-in-law, it will be an honor for your mother-in-law to welcome you and your fiance's family, which that's the mother's son. Don't show up supporting your marriage. Don't be friends with someone who will not be happy with your engagement. If someone claims to be my friend, show that she is not happy for me, then you're out of my life. It will not hurt to kick some people out of your life and create. Maybe you can ask your fiance's stepfather if he can walk down the aisle with you. Speaking of weddings, I'm not very big in the types of weddings. When I have a ceremony, I know weddings are expensive. I would love to go to anyone's wedding ceremony. I've been to lots of wedding ceremonies. It's nice to celebrate someone's ceremony. I would love to have a wedding, something very cool. I hope that you are making the right decisions with planning a wedding. Overall, I want to say good luck to you and your fiance. I really wish the best for you. It makes me happy to hear that you and your fiance are doing very well. That is what I love to hear. I hope that you amend your relationships with your family, including extended family members. That's all. So the girlfriend is 22 years old and the narrator, who is a male, is 23 years old. My girlfriend and I have been in a relationship for about a year and a half. Though the past few months I've had many concerns about our relationship. That onto the next story. The headline is called, "Is it immoral for me to consider leaving my girlfriend?" Let me read the story. We are both fairly inexperienced in dating, each of us having dated only one person prior to our current relationship. My girlfriend struggles a lot with insecurity and jealousy, and so many times, in an effort to console her when these feelings drove her to feeling particularly, I would say things like, "You're the only one I want," "You're the love of my life," "I will never leave you," or "We'll be together the rest of our lives." I truly meant these things when I said them, but now I realize what a complete fool I am making for these guarantees when I'm only 23 and don't know anything, are eating away at me, and as such, I haven't repeated any of these guarantees I was making to her before. It's possible I would have ended by my own word and don't know what to do. I'm just an average guy, not amazing catch, yet based on what I know about her and the things I've said, it's possible I would have ended things by now, but I feel bound. I feel like ending the relationship would destroy her. Is it immoral for me to leave her? Consider leaving her? Any outside perspectives would be very helpful. Thank you. Her with her insecurities, you're not her therapist to recognize her personal issues. My thing is, if you feel that you're not good for her, then don't be with her. I don't want to give up my happiness to simply be with someone. That sounds very depressing. I feel that most young people who are inexperienced in relationships would say that. I don't think that it is uncommon. You can't make promises that you can't keep. You're going to be with someone that actually loves you, that is actually committed to you, and that knows how to be loyal to you. Not all of the first relationships lasted. It was your first relationship. You're not responsible for her insecurities and her personal issues. You are not in control of her actions and her feelings. You can't always help. You realize that you and her were not happy together and you made the best decision to leave her. I feel that growing apart is a learning process. I believe that's a good thing to do. I feel that people have to grow apart to know where they are at and what end of the best session they made was worth it. You also don't want to stay with someone who stays with you later on, tells you that they don't love you at all. I find it very deceitful. I feel that it is best to leave, and I find it immoral to stay with someone that you don't want to be committed to. The last thing that you want to do is be with someone and tell that person, "I love you, I want to be with you, I will be here for you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you." I would never, come up with these fairy tales, and there are people who believe the fairy tale, Nothing is more important than your own happiness. Let her focus on her own happiness. I feel that it's common for people to say these things because you want to console the person. You and your girlfriend made some mistakes. I think that the only remedy behind this is to realize that both of you guys are growing apart happily. I'm sure that you can learn from this. Your girlfriend will learn from this. Honesty is the best policy. Don't be afraid to tell her how you feel. Just say, I don't think that you and I will be together. I feel that both of us should focus on each other's happiness and we are better without each other. It shouldn't hurt to express yourself. I don't think that you were trying to be unfaithful to her. Again, honesty is the best policy, and you should definitely go live with this because you feel so much better being honest with someone about how you feel. I'm not knocking you down for it. The last thing that you want to do is play with her emotions. It'll be good for her to be in her own space and heal on her own. You also need to have your own space and redeem yourself. I feel that being honest will save so much time for the future. It may be brutal to be honest with her at first, and you'll be better in the end. If you don't want to be in a relationship, then don't force yourself to be in it. At the end of the day, you're not going to be happy. What you don't want to do is make excuses for yourself. You know it's time to go your separate ways, and she'll be better off finding someone that she actually loves and that person loves her. I know that you feel guilty about this. You realized it. All I can say is good luck, and I hope that you learned from this because I don't want you to keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Don't be afraid to speak up because speaking up makes you feel a lot better. It will make your life a lot easier. No one should force you to be in a relationship that you're not obligated to be in. You're not going to be with me, pretend that you love me, and later on you don't love me. I don't like stuff like that. I just do not want you to repeat those mistakes when you are in the next relationship. I just want you to do better. That is why I'm not in a long-term relationship. I haven't been in lots of serious relationships. I don't want to make those mistakes the same ones that people have made in the past. All I could say to you, I hope that your next relationship goes well. Do not rush into the next relationship because I don't want you to mess up. I did everything I could to try to communicate with her. I always asked her what was wrong and if she was okay. Here is the next story. It's called I Just Broke Up with My Girlfriend and I Feel Terrible About It. It's a male narrating the story, and he is 20 years old. So let's start reading the story. I just broke up with my girlfriend and I feel terrible about it the other day, and I think I might be in a hole. For a bit of backstory, she was my first girlfriend and I really was in love with her. I wanted to marry her, but she was abusive the whole time we were together. She would constantly insult me, fuss, and yell at me every day. She would even hit me. Sometimes she would just come up to me and punch me right in my crotch. She said it was cute when I was hurt and upset. I didn't tell anyone about this until a couple months ago. When I told my friends about it, they were completely shocked and they said they don't know how I could put up with it and I should leave her if there was anything I could do for her, but she just refused to communicate and she would get mad and fuss at me for asking if she's okay. She also expected me to text her and call her constantly, and she told me that if I didn't reply to her text within 5 minutes, then she will be mad at me. Also, we work together and we haven't been able to see each other much lately because her mom won't let her come see me often because of COVID. I've been wanting to break up with her for the past 8 to 9 months. I tried many times telling her how I felt, but she would just start crying her eyes out and begging me to stay with her, promising to change. I didn't leave her because it really hurt me to see her so sad and I was scared, and if I left her, she would try to hurt me. So the other day, me and my parents went out to go see Christmas lights. When we came home, my girlfriend was standing on the porch with all her stuff saying she was moving in with me. She just showed up without telling me. Me and my parents let her inside because it was cold, and we told her since we didn't know anything about her moving in that she would have to go home. Then my grandma came outside to talk to her mom, and her mom went off on my grandma yelling at her, saying how bad of a person I am, and making stuff up about me, lying to her in the past, which I never did. So once my girlfriend's mom walked away, I went back inside with my girlfriend and I said that her mom was rude and she had no business yelling at my grandma like that. I just handed my girlfriend her Christmas present and told her to leave. She kept saying she loves me and begging me to let her stay. I told her that I used to love her but not anymore, and she needs to leave me alone and stay out of my life. Right after they left, on the phone, I told her mom that her acting like that towards my grandma was not okay and that if they ever come back here, I will call the cops. I haven't heard from my girlfriend since this happened because she's been grounded from her phone. It's ridiculous. She's 20 years old. Her mom is very, very controlling. I have no idea how she's doing and it's been killing me. I miss her so much right now. I don't know if what I did was wrong and maybe I overreacted. I can't stop missing her and feeling like I'm a terrible person. I'm so hurt and lost, I don't know what to do. This is what I have been saying before. It is never mix business with personal. I feel that the biggest mistake that you made is staying with her for a certain amount of time. It's terrible to say this. You need to be selfish because she doesn't love you at all. She does not value herself enough to respect you. You need to focus on your own happiness. Never give up on your own happiness to be with someone. It will hurt you in the end. I can guarantee you this. My thing is that you should never take her back because the issue is she kept repeating the abuse, therefore she kept abusing you. Since you mentioned lots of real details about her, I can tell how much of a toxic person. Since you mentioned lots of real details about her, I can tell how much of a toxic person she is. Lying on someone and disrespecting someone's family is something that I will never tolerate at all. I know that you're not the problem at all. She is. I will never take back someone that puts their hands on me. I will say no thank you. I'm not going to be with you because you need help. You're the one that needs to be healthy. There was more good than bad. If I was you, I'm not going to be with someone who's not going to make me feel happy. There's no way that I will give up my happiness to be with someone. That's a no-no. It does not matter if she was a friend or not. She was physically abusive towards you and I'm not going to tolerate that. I understand that your girlfriend and her family does not get along with your family. If you continue to be with her, she's going to hurt you chance after chance. You never know what she could do worse than hurt you. I suggest that you get the law on your side by filing a restraining order because she's not going to change her ways. You don't want to be in a situation like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Definitely reminds me of the whole male and female stereotype. I don't like it when several males get blamed when they are actually innocent. Several females play the victim. I'm not saying that all males are bad and all females play the victim. Anyways, never apologize for your overreaction because you did the right thing. You did the right thing by telling her mother that you will call the cops. I find it clear that your girlfriend is very disrespectful. It sounds like she does not respect her own space. I will do the same thing if someone I want nothing to do with harasses me or tries to get involved in my presence. I won't tell them, no, you're not allowed in my presence, don't contact me again. I'm very protective of my own energy. You should do the same as well. Never feel bad for doing the right thing. Never apologize to create a space that is healthy for you. Never apologize for leaving a space that was very toxic. Never feel afraid to protect your own energy. It's her own problem for her to be very negative. Don't be afraid to be single and find yourself. Stop worrying about her feelings. She moved into your home without your knowledge. I consider it to be a crime because I think that the reason why she's violent is because she's an entitled person. I hear that a lot of abusive people have that trait in a relationship. Someone who's a narcissist, someone who is manipulative, someone who is entitled. She tries to achieve what she wants from you. I feel that she's using you. She's not used to the answer no. You don't want people who do not like the word no. I like the word no. Give me a reason. That is all I need to know. I dealt with people who always try to get what they want. There are times when I was afraid to say no. it was friends, not in a relationship. There's nothing wrong with saying no. You will not regret saying no. Do not look back at saying no. You don't want to be with someone who refuses to communicate with you. Therefore, your girlfriend was uncommunicative with you. People got mad at me for saying no. I was just like, screw your negative feelings. You want to get mad. It is what it is. There are unstable people who are entitled. Your ex-girlfriend, whatever you call her, is one of these people. I feel that she wants to figure out her own feelings. That is why she's not communicating with you. It looks like she wants you to be the scapegoat with the root of her own personal issues. I'm not saying can you not be with her? My thing is you and her should go your separate ways. Don't be in contact with her. I feel that she does not respect herself, especially since she knows where you live. I find it a sign of disrespect. Like, who told you you can enter into my property without permission? I hope that you did not give her the key to your home. It's very terrible to say that. You should just stop missing her. As far as her tears, I can't buy it for her to convince you to be with her. That's a sign of manipulation. If she's also a negative friend in your life, then there is no way that you can consider her as a friend. Who cares about how her mother punished her? I learned that it's hard to get out of an abusive relationship from people I know who experienced it. I also know people who have a family history with domestic violence. It can be deadly. Who they know to get out of that relationship. You definitely got out of it alive. You are brave for leaving that relationship. I also learned that it takes time for people to leave that relationship. People should never feel guilty for leaving someone that is toxic. I have to give you props for leaving that toxic, shitty family. You have to think for yourself about leaving that toxic space. Don't forget to think for your family, including your grandmother. Protect your family's energy. That's not just you for leaving that toxic relationship. For those who are and were abused, don't blame yourself and do not tell yourself that it's your fault. Credit yourself for doing the right thing. Credit yourself for escaping. Never look back on leaving that toxic situation. I agree with what everyone said when they responded to your Reddit. Just block her number, stop contacting her. If she does it again, like I said, file a restraining order, file a no contact order so that she will not be able to see you and contact you again. Karma will also come for her family because they were abusive towards you, your family, and your grandmother. All I can say for that girl is that she will get her karma for the way she treated you. If she decides to do something criminal, then that conviction will stay with her for the rest of her life. That's all I have to say. I hope that you have a healthy life in your next relationship. Again, always protect your energy. On to the next story. This is a guy narrating the story. He is 23 years old. It is called My Wife Dumped Me 4 months ago, but keeps living with me and keeps being sweet and cheesy. What to do? To make a long story short, we got married last summer, moved out of my mom's and into our own apartment in May this year. She grew distant not long after and started avoiding me as much as possible. By October, she told me she wanted to leave the relationship as usual. I had no say in the matter. In November, she wanted to get back together. At that time, I told her we would have to take things a bit slowly. I had been so removed from her emotionally, I could not get myself back to where we were just like that. I wanted to ease back into our relationship and make sure things would not go back to how it was because it was pretty bad for most of our married life. Now she says to me, hesitating was like the nail in the coffin and it is really over this time. I guess she cannot stand the idea that I too have some precedence in our relationship. This brings us to today. I take marriage seriously and have offered many times for us to work together to create the life we had imagined together. She says she would like to, but that she has made up her mind and it is really over between us now. The problem is that she still sort of lives with me. She spends most of her friends She spends most of her days at her friend's place, but whenever it is convenient, she comes home. Her work is relatively close to where I live, and when she works night shifts, she comes home to sleep. All her stuff is here still. Even more disturbing is that she keeps being sweet and cheesy like we were together. She calls me sometimes by our nicknames, holds my hand, and touches me sometimes and acts like we are still together. The other night, I was smoking some hash by myself and got really high and enjoyed doing a creative project responsibly. Suddenly, she came home and started nagging that I should not smoke as if it was her business. Now I'm scared to smoke or even just enjoy my own company on the weekends because if she decides to turn up, she will yell at me and make me feel like S, call me an addict, and take some twisted moral high ground. She refuses to move out. Every time I try to explain that us living together is really bad for me emotionally, she freaks out and throws tantrums. I cannot move on when we live together. I feel stuck in a strange limbo where we are not together but not broken up. She does not have a full-time job, and I'm certain she can afford her own place if she had to, but now she says her priorities are to pay for her driver's license, which in my country end up costing around $4,000 to $7,000 in US dollars, and a car also ridiculously expensive. I really don't know what to do. Part of me thinks she's not really serious about breaking up when she acts like that. At the same time, I have seen how crazy she really is. She has threatened me to make the divorce a living hell if we don't part on her terms, which apparently involves being super sentimental about everything. She has a strange thing with doing things for the last time, which really messes with my head. I also pity her. She does not have anyone now that she has parted with me and my family. She does not have any family or anything. I know that she's controlling me to satisfy her own chaos. What can a man do in such a situation? I really need some advice from you guys. I feel that marriage is a different story than being with someone as boyfriend or girlfriend and being engaged. Divorce laws vary in every state of the United States. I can't speak for all states at all. I can't speak for all countries. I haven't been married at all. I'm not a married person. I feel that the woman is manipulating you. She comes off as a toxic woman. I feel that you're in a bad space where this woman, if you don't have any children with her, then it will be less stressful on your part. I suggest that you leave and find someone to help you. Is constantly disrespecting you. She's trying to please you. I can tell you, you can see through the BS. I feel that this woman is using you for money. You should start the legal process and get a divorce lawyer if you can. Serve her with divorce papers. Get out of that marriage. She's treating you like a property. She's treating you like an asset. I feel that she's using you because you have things that she does not have. You mentioned that she doesn't have anybody in her life. I don't consider it to be love at all. She doesn't have a full-time job. She treats your home like a hotel and she doesn't pay the bills in your home. If I were you, I would never be with someone who gives up their job to be with someone. You need a stable job to make yourself live. You can't rely on someone to make yourself live. She sounds like a shady person as far as what details you are providing. I know that she's not a criminal. Stop thinking about what she wants. Stop thinking about consoling her because she's doing everything she can for you to believe her deceitfulness. Depending on the state that you live in, I hope that you don't owe her any spousal support because it will definitely hurt you. If that's an issue for you, then you need to speak with your lawyer about it. I know that paying for spousal support sucks, especially if someone has a history of using their spouse for money and being financially deceitful. Think smart about how to get out of that marriage. Know your so-called wife's moves because you don't want her knowing every single thing that you're doing to get out of that marriage. I think that it will be smart if you live on your own and find a new place. I suggest that you make silent moves because you don't want her to know about your moves. I will say start moving your belongings without her knowing and being around you. I don't mean everything at once. If you can't do this, move your belongings in a separate storage where it's not attached to your home. Block her number because she might track you. She might sound strategic. Overall, she is manipulative. I feel that I can read through her based off of the details you are providing on Reddit. It looks like she wants to continue the marriage even though she said that she wants to divorce. That makes no sense. If you have a support system, then I suggest that you go to someone for help because it will save your life. Make sure that you tell your situation about the woman because it will protect people's energy. I mean, the people in your life. If you are being with her while she comes off as manipulative, then I don't know what to tell you. This is not a healthy situation because she's the one being toxic to you. She said that she will make your life a living hell. That says enough about her. She just dug a grave for herself. Now she has to live in it. That says everything I need to know about her. Plus, if you plan on cutting ties with her for good, then 2021 should know her true colors. 2021 should teach her a lesson because she's the one that is depicted to be a monster. Toxic people are the ones that deserve karma. They need a slap in the face. I know that you tried to take your marriage seriously, but I don't want you to have a long, bad marriage. That's not the end of the world for you. I don't know if she will be homeless, but she will be living at her friend's house. I doubt that it'll last long because I'm assuming that she doesn't have money for herself. Like what everyone responded to you on Reddit, do not dare to take her back because she will put some dirt on you. You don't want it to affect your life and your future. I'm not saying kick her out if you're not able to. Make sure you buy locks to protect your belongings in case she wants to be spiteful. If you have a vehicle, add a backup lock or an alarm since she wants to be spiteful. She sounds very unstable. Never tell her your personal business. Protect your identity, bank accounts, passport, clothes, jewelry, expensive items you have bought, and other things that are important to you. I want to say good luck to you because divorce is not going to be easy for you. One day you will realize that cutting ties with her will be the best decision you ever made in your life. This is the last relationship advice I will be reading on the subreddit. This is the woman telling her story. It is called Found Out My Husband Has Been Seeing Escorts. I have been married for 1.5 years and together for 2.5 years. We spoke about everything: weed use, alcohol, past, etc. He lied about it all. Once we got married, the truth started unraveling itself slowly, first lying about the frequency of weed use every single day, not occasionally, then about the use of alcohol, which he said was none, but he drank through our honeymoon, lying about being at work, infrequency of sex from day one, then gained a lot of weight. He made it seem as though I was downing him and I was wrong and overthinking and I needed help. He needed help, not me. I started going to therapy and I'm doing better now. I started noticing some distance again, and my toxic AF behavior led me to snooping around, and I have proof he has been contacting escorts. I've never denied him sex. Heck, I have a very, very high something. I, I've dressed up and told him about my dreams, and he's always shrugged it to the side, but escorts. That's where I draw the line. I haven't spoken to him yet, and I'm not even torn. I knew it wasn't me, and I wasn't crazy. I know he's messed in head. I'm 6 months pregnant and just do not want to bring my baby boy into a world with a father like that. You're not alone. I've heard several stories like this when it comes to escorts. Your husband is guilty for cheating on you and meeting with escorts. In case if you don't know, escorts are not the type of people that you don't want to be around at all. I heard several stories where escorts have done shady stuff to people. The biggest issue with your husband is that he has fidelity issues and he has trouble communicating with you. He seems more interested with the escorts than to spend time with you. That is very disrespectful and heartless. It's very clear that he's not being honest with you on his whereabouts. He does not know how to be loyal to you. As much as you have a son, you'll be better off without him. You would be the sole provider for your son. I applaud you for finding out the truth about your husband and what he was doing behind your back. You're not a fool for finding out the real truth about his whereabouts. Unfortunately, I don't see an option to make the marriage work other than leaving him. I heard marriage stories being in jeopardy because the husband was cheating on their wife by being with an escort. It's not just one story, there are several stories like this. I find it very unfortunate. I feel that it would damage the reputation of a husband. You may not be a perfect wife, but you are a loyal, nurturing, caring wife for sure. Your husband is the one that is showing his true colors. If you're serious about leaving him for good and not being his wife anymore, then I suggest that you file for divorce and get these legal documents official, and you don't have to worry about being disrespected again. You don't have to face this alone. Just find a divorce lawyer to help you out. I feel that your husband is very toxic because he has been placing his issues on you, and those are not your issues at all. He's lied about the things that he has done, and what else could he not lie about? In case if you do plan on getting a divorce, just tell him that this marriage is not going to last because I see that you're not going to change your ways. I feel that you realized how much time you put. This man has not shown you how committed he is towards you. What I learned is that you can't change someone when someone does not change their ways. A cheater will always be a cheater. Once a cheater will always be a cheater. Alcoholism got the best out of him, and it's very sad. I feel that your son is going to be the most affected by his father's actions. It's very infuriating that he turns to escorts for pleasure and he does this in his own free time. At the end of the day, your son needs both parents in his life and needs to grow up in a stable environment. You definitely need some support to leave that marriage so he does not disrespect you again. He seriously does not want to make that marriage work. He's not serious about it. I just hate to see that you're hurt. I don't think that you have to apologize for leaving him because he disrespected you behind your back and does not show any love towards you. You know leaving him does not have to end badly. No loyal man will have an escort in his life and let it interfere in their marriage. Being with an escort does not equate to love. It's not up to me. If you see that he's not being a parent to your son, then you have the parental rights to have your son full time. Maybe it will teach him a lesson on what he did that was wrong. You can definitely do better. I know that you can find somebody who can treat you well, who can love you, and who could be loyal to you. I feel that your life will be a lot easier without that husband. It shouldn't be hard to find a loyal man who's actually committed to you, you know that. Maybe it'll teach the man's father a lesson. That's not enough for him to learn from his mistakes, then I don't know what will. I don't want to disrespect your son's father. If he's foolish enough to sleep with other people and cheat, then that's on him. He's going to face some consequences for the things that he did to you. Eventually he's going to learn. I doubt that he's going to change. I don't know. All I can say is good luck with your moves to get out of that relationship. I wish the best for you and your son. I don't know you personally. Please don't face this alone. You need some support for sure. I hope that you keep your head up. That's all I have to say. That is all I have for this. That is all I have for this episode. That is all of the relationship advice that I read on Reddit. I could not get to all of them. Hopefully I do more Reddit relationship advice. I did not want to make this episode too long. I just hope that you learned something from this episode. I enjoyed reading the relationship advice on the subreddit. It was very fun and interesting. That is all I have for this episode for the Very Weird podcast. I want to thank the new listeners for joining me. This podcast is also available on YouTube and Instagram. If you are a new listener, please subscribe to this podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you enjoyed this episode, please stay tuned for the next episode. Have a good day.